Good morning and welcome. I'm Maureen Dwyer, Executive Director of Sitar Art Center, and I am so pleased to share our stage with Jim Knight, the CEO and President of Jubilee Housing. Jim and I are delighted to welcome the Honorable Muriel Bowser on this day. It's a day of forward action. Today, we celebrate the groundbreaking of two brand new Jubilee Housing buildings, one at 1460 Euclid Street Northwest, and one at 1724 Kalorama Road Northwest. That one includes a significant expansion for Sitar Art Center, and we're calling it Sitar Next Door. Today is a day rooted in long-held partnership and guided by the knowledge that our beloved Adams Morgan and Columbia Heights neighborhoods are more vibrant and more powerful with cultural and economic diversity. Here at Sitar, DC youth from early childhood all the way through young adulthood develop their skills in the performing, the digital, and the visual arts. We simply remove the barriers that are financial to arts education. We reserve 80% of our enrollment for families experiencing low income. When you are building communities of deep belonging and equitable access, place really matters. Sitar volunteer leader Ralph Dweck knows that, and he helped Sitar to grow once before right here in this facility. On a visit after that expansion, Ralph and I were walking through the hallways of Sitar, filled with young people and all the arts. Ralph turned to me and he said, "Our place is once again out of space." I told him about our growing wait lists of affordable arts programs and how our alumni come back and keep telling us they need more. They need alternative pathways to build skills and careers in the arts and in creative industries. Next thing I know, Ralph and I are standing outside facing the vacant building next door. 2 days later, I get a call from Ralph, who I should probably mention is a pretty big real estate developer. And he said, "Okay, Maureen, the building next door is for sale and the seller is ready now." I said, "Well, Ralph, I love to dream big, but Sitar is not about to buy a whole building." So we began to think about who might want to be our partner. And Jim, I'll hand it to you to pick up the story from here.
Wow. Thank you all for being here. I am delighted to share this stage with Maureen. We've partnered together for many years. To pick up the story you just started, I would have to call it divine providence in action, friends. Jubilee had just launched our first impact investment fund called Justice Housing Partners, and for a rare time, we had cash. Ralph had brokered this opportunity, and he was quick to say, "This needs to be a fast decision. We can only hold the property off market for a little while." And I checked in with the board, checked in with Maureen, said, "Are you going to do this with us?" And got a strong, "Yes, we will." And so 3 days later, we signed a contract. Wow. Knowing, and this, friends, this is what gets me going, knowing that we had just secured the next Justice Housing development in Ward 1. That's a yay. I want to thank our partners at United Bank and LISC, and of course Justice Housing Partners for helping with that acquisition. All right, so some of you will be familiar with the work of the economist Raj Chetty, who has demonstrated that beyond a doubt the single most predictive factor for future success is none other than your zip code. Where you live counts. We call it justice housing because it leverages the power of where you live. It's deeply affordable. It's accessible to people with the greatest barriers. It's located in resource-rich neighborhoods like Adams Morgan and Columbia Heights and others. Our mayor is committed to putting affordable housing in all of the neighborhoods. Thank you, Mayor. Close to schools, grocery stores, transportation, you know, all the things that each and every one of us needs to be our best selves. And last, it comes with on-site and nearby programs and services. Enter Sitar next door. So a justice housing project this is. Okay, so we are going to recognize as many people as we can today because it takes a lot of us to get here. So the first person that I will call up to the stage, who has the great honor of introducing our mayor, is none other than Jubilee resident leader Khulud Kadur, who I happened to meet in 2002 when she arrived at Jubilee as an early middle schooler. She and her mother and her brother had just arrived as immigrants from Saudi Arabia. And this is hard to put together, so some of you are parents, some of you are grandparents, and you've seen this happen in your own lives. There was Khulud, eager for her opportunity. Here she is today. I'm going to say a couple things about her before she comes up. She's currently pursuing her 4th degree, a doctorate from Morgan State University in public health. But wait, there is more. We can clap every time, but get ready. She works as an epidemiologist, I can barely say it, at the CDC Foundation. She's also a doctoral fellow at Johns Hopkins University. She might even tell us a little bit about how that's going. And she's published at Harvard, at the World Health Organization, among many more. She has testified about affordable housing in front of the U.S. Congress, and she serves as a member of our board of directors. Without any more words, Khulud, please come up here and welcome our mayor.
Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate that beautiful introduction. I am grateful to be a part of the Jubilee housing community for 2 decades, and now feel like I have come full circle to serving on the board of directors. Congratulations, Jubilee and the Sitar, for this exciting expansion. I am someone who knows the importance of after-school programming and the Sitar and the arts for the youth as an essential part of their development. Having access to safe and affordable housing in this resource-rich community gave me the platform to pursue my dreams. As Jim mentioned, I'm currently working on my 4th college degree, and this Friday I have to submit my proposal for my dissertation. So right now it's everything but dissertation. Exciting. Exciting time. Growing up, I participated in youth services and mentoring programs that helped propel me towards my future. My family benefited from the rich social network and guidance in navigating the social support system provided by Jubilee Housing. And my favorite quote is, after the final no, there comes a yes. And on that yes, the future world depends. I had many doors closed, but with the support of a supportive environment, I was able to thrive. I am honored to introduce Honorable Muriel Bowser in her the eighth mayor of the District of Columbia, and the only female to be reelected for a 2nd term. You have been so inspiring to me as I pursue my dreams. Since becoming mayor, the city has made historic investment in the Housing Production Trust Fund, totaling $1.444 billion, including more than $1 billion. Including more than $1 billion in her tenure and $445 million committed in 2023 alone. At the start of her second term, Mayor Bowser set a bold goal to deliver an additional 36,000 units of housing, including at least 12,000 of affordable housing. By 2025, our mayor also committed to producing affordable housing across all 8 wards, including our very own Ward 1. From January 2019 through July 2022, the district has produced 24,998 net new units, of which 6,243 are affordable. Mayor Bowser, on behalf of Jubilee and Sitar communities and folks all over the city, we thank you for your leadership and welcome you to the stage. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's give Khalud a big round of applause. It's wonderful to hear your story, and we're rooting for you. And it's wonderful to be here at the Sitar Arts Center. Let's hear it for Sitar. I joked with Jim when I arrived and asking him, what was he doing here? And what we're all doing here is to celebrate this partnership and to especially celebrate how it is going to help us achieve the big goals that we have set as a city. I'm happy to be here with your council member, Brianna Doe. Give her a big round of applause. As well as our housing agency partners led by Deputy Mayor Falchicchio, Drew Hubbard at DHCD, and Chris Donald at the DC Housing Finance Agency. I also want to acknowledge DC's very special leader of the arts, and that's the chairperson of the DC Commission on Arts and Humanities, Chairman Reggie Van Lee. Thank you, Reggie, for being here as well. So it seems like just a couple of weeks ago, but actually it was in 2018 when I was last at Sitar, we were launching our Learn 24 initiative, which connects our young people to quality activities outside of their regular school day. What we know is out of school time is an increasingly important set of hours. It's always been important that our children have wonderful, supervised, enriching activities. But post-pandemic, it's even more important that we have respected programs that are helping our kids catch up from all the things that were missed during the pandemic. And we know that the arts play a key role in doing that. So I want to thank you for thinking big, for saying we need more space, and then deciding to buy 2 buildings. That's fantastic. Let's give them a big round of applause. So we know you call it EucKal, am I told? You're calling Euclid and the Calaroma Project EucKal, where we will add 25 units of affordable housing right on Calarama, mix up deeply affordable units and family-sized units, and that right here on Calarama that you will get another 6,000 square feet. And so that's an awesome amount of space for programming that we know works for kids. The addition of the Euclid Street property also is a celebration of what TOPA can do in the lives of DC residents when they partner with respected developers to keep units affordable, but also make them contemporary. So all that's to say that we're 50 homes closer to our goal. You heard about our big goal that we set 4 years ago, and by 2025, we expect to meet that goal. And it's been possible because of a lot of creative thinking in our development community, as well as our taxpayers' willingness to put up over $1 billion in our Housing Production Trust Fund. And we're probably going to have to ask them to do even more to hit our goals. We've been innovative, and we're going to need to be even more innovative in the next 4 years to make sure that we're keeping up with the housing needs of our residents. And one thing that we have been focused on in the last several months is our Black Home Ownership Strike Force and the $10 million fund that we will focus in using to make sure that more Black families can afford to live in Washington, D.C. and buy their homes. So I wanted to be here with my team who has been focused on housing affordability for every day of our almost 8 years in office. And I'm feeling kind of lucky about Tuesday. So in January, with Brianne and others, we're going to raise our hand and we're going to recommit to the big ideas that's required to make sure that the best city in the world, our city, is on the pathway to the comeback, but also that it's focused on making sure that it's an equitable comeback. And I know that you will be here right with us. And it's projects like this one. I noticed that nobody jeered when a developer was introduced to the stage. Because, guess what? To get the things that we need quality developers that are willing to partner with the city on our goals. And so I want to congratulate Jubilee and Sitar on this fantastic partnership. Thank you. And so with that, I want to introduce your council member. I think she's also feeling lucky for Tuesday to talk about what this means for Ward 1, Brianne Nadeau.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. It is always great to have you at these events in Ward 1. We are so grateful for all of your support of the projects here. And I also want to acknowledge our A&C Commissioner, Jake Valaschini, who is with us today. Commissioner, for continuing to be a champion of affordable housing and important work that we need done in the ward and his SMD and here in Adams Morgan. So I am Brianne Nadeau. I'm the Ward 1 council member. And you know that I believe that the preservation and building of new affordable housing are vital to our city's growth. And I have fought and continue to fight to create affordable housing here in the district and in our ward, including preserving the affordable and family-sized housing we already have, because too many of our residents are struggling with housing, with homelessness, and displacement. And I really refer to that as the yes and approach to housing. And I know Mayor Bowser has been a great leader on these issues, so thank you, Mayor. So we really must be intentional and proactive when we think about how to approach the challenges of housing in the city. We need to ask ourselves, what are we doing to ensure housing is accessible and guaranteed to residents? Luckily, here in Ward 1, we have Jubilee Housing, which is doing just that. And Jubilee Housing has long demonstrated through its work how we can get affordable housing right. So thank you, Jim, and your whole team. Normally at these events, you can clap. Normally at these events, we have an over-under on how long it takes for Jim to make me cry with his remarks, but he kept them brief. I think he didn't want me to be embarrassed in front of the mayor by tearing up in the audience, so I thank you for that, Jim. But that is the kind of spirit that we feel in our community with the strong presence of Jubilee working here. And all of our Church of the Savior, I call them Church of the Savior spawned organizations, like Sitar, like Platform of Hope, I know Judy's here, like so many wonderful organizations that are here. We are so proud all began and mostly remain here in Ward 1. And Jubilee in particular doesn't just provide affordable housing, they provide deeply affordable housing. They take the extra step by implementing on-site and nearby services, which allows DC residents to stay in their neighborhoods instead of being pushed out by the outcomes of a thriving city. Now, justice housing in particular means that we're allowing people who are returning or who are trying to remain in their own communities to stay here. And that is so important because it's become harder. It just has, despite all of our efforts. And because this project will allow Sitar to expand its summer youth arts and digital media program, this is also an investment in our young people. Thank you for speaking so beautifully about your experience. Raise your hand if you have a 5-year-old who won't stop talking about Sitar art programs. Is that just me? Is it just me? Okay. I know there's more of you out there, maybe not 5 in particular, but my daughter saw her first musical here. She took her first dance class here, and she'll finally be old enough for summer camp next year. So look out. Zoe Harpster is going to... She's got her own following, let me tell you. But, you know, it's so incredible to be here in this space and know that when my daughter is participating in an arts program at Sitar, that there are also opportunities for every other kid in this ward to participate in the program because there are no barriers. There are no financial barriers to participating in these programs. And that is a beautiful and hard to find thing. So let us also take a moment to applaud the mission and dedication of Maureen and the team at Sitar. This is a really exciting project, and it is a long time in the making. And I feel like I say that every time I'm up here with Jubilee. It's a really exciting project, and it's a long time in the making. Well, it's just because they're so creative, right? They're so creative. But Mayor, you brought almost your entire cabinet today because they've almost all been involved in getting this project done, right? And what that shows you is that this project is not only well conceived and broadly conceived, but is going to be well and broadly implemented, and is going to have a huge impact on the lives of the people here in Adams Morgan, in Ward 1 and beyond. And that is something that we should celebrate every day. So thanks for being together so we can do it together today. Thank you, Mayor, and to the whole team. Thank you. All right. Reggie, come on up. All right. I told this man earlier today, thank you for serving as the chairman of the Arts Commission. Thank you for doing that job, because there's not very many people who can do it as well or who are willing to do it. Kind of you. Yeah, and anyway, thanks for doing it, and thanks for being such a great leader in this space that is so important to so many Washingtonians. We are an arts city, so we thank you. We are.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let me start by saying in all public meetings at the Arts Commission, with the keen sensitivity to the diversity of our constituents, we introduce ourselves and describe ourselves physically, especially for our vision-impaired constituents. So I'm Reggie Van Lee. I have the honor of serving as chair of the D.C. Commission on Arts and Humanities. I'm an African-American man in a blue suit with a white shirt and a blue patterned tie. So my sincere thanks to you, Mayor Bowser. It's an honor to join in celebrating today's important step in advancing your relentless commitment to a fair shot for every D.C. resident. I'd like to also acknowledge Councilmember Nadeau, thank you, for the support you and the rest of the council have shown the arts community in D.C. At the Arts Commission, our vision is that every district resident can access the full spectrum of arts and cultural offerings available here in our artistically vibrant city. In the 15 months since Mayor Bowser appointed me as chair of the Arts Commission, I've made it a priority that we analyze and evaluate all of our practices through a lens of inclusion, diversity, equity, and access. In Sitar Arts Center's application to our 2022 Facilities and Buildings Competitive Grant Program, the grant review panel saw these same values of inclusion, diversity, equity, and access in the proposal from Sitar Next Door. Funding from the Facilities and Buildings, or FAB grant as we call it, can be used by qualified arts and humanities nonprofit organizations towards renovation and repairs of a facility they own, or in this case, for Sitar, towards the purchase of a new facility, Sitar Next Door. In the expanded space, Sitar's arts education programs will reach 500 more school-age students. And Sitar Next Door will advance equity in careers in the arts and creative industries for young people and young adults ages 18 to 24. And the new space will include the professional arts technology needed for training in video production, recording and sound engineering, AV production, digital design, and more. Young adults will emerge with immediately employable skills and connections to D.C. employers seeking diverse local talent. The Arts Commission is proud to invest in the development of the young, emerging creatives in Washington, D.C. towards the award of a $500,000 FAB grant towards the purchase of the Sitar space next door. My congratulations to Maureen and the entire staff at Sitar, the new space, and my thanks to all of you that do so much for our city's youth. Thank you. And I think Maureen is next. Who needs no introduction?
Thank you, Reggie, for being here. And the commission has been a transformative partner to Sitar since we opened our doors in 2000. And I'm very inspired by your thoughtful leadership. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for your commitment to a fair shot for DC youth and families, and to Councilmember Nadeau for your ever-present leadership and support. Thank you. And your daughter for sharing her with us. Sitar Arts Center's community has put out a clear call for growth. People often ask why we're staying in a neighborhood that is rapidly changing, and we're staying because we are committed to anchoring space for DC's youth, all of them, no matter income. I really wish I could thank every person in this room who brought that call to action, but in the interest of time, I'm going to keep it brief, and I'm going to thank the Capital Campaign donors, only those who are in the room today. They're all rolling on the screen later, so look at them all. But with us today, we have our leading gift from Dweck Philanthropies. Thank you. And it's a little list, so clap at the end. The Morris and Gwendolyn K. Fritz Foundation, the Diane and Norman Bernstein Foundation, Jill Miniman and her husband Tom Fulcher, Marla and Peter Schnall, Greg Albright and Wes Combs, and our founder, Rhonda Buckley. Hi, Rhonda. Special thanks to our Leadership Council members who are here today, and really special thanks to Tom Helf, a Leadership Council member who provided pro bono real estate services for this project. Thank you, Tom. If our board members can raise their hands to be thanked, and special thanks to our Capital Campaign Committee, our board president, Mario Garcia Durham, Vice President Quanda Allen, former President Jill Miniman, Marla Schnall, and Capital Planning Chair Scott Spector, who worked tirelessly with me for 2.5 years. Thank you, Scott. And to the two Capital Campaign Committee members who started it all, Ralph Dweck and Hannah Dweck. Thank you. Finally, I am forever grateful to Jubilee Housing for taking this leap with us, for having the vision and the readiness. And that's because, and I don't use this word often, but it really fits Jim, their indefatigable leader, Mr. Jim Knight.
Wow, guys. We're about to go put shovel in dirt, Mayor, you and others, and I'm finding, I've only been doing this a little while, but I'm finding that this moment never gets old. As we prepare to break ground together, I want to claim with you that we are already standing on holy ground. This is the place where dreams will come true for countless new friends and families like Khalud, who will use high-quality housing and resources like Sitar next door to reach for their dreams for decades to come. That is what it's all about. We don't get here indefatigable. I don't know. I'm pretty tired. I can't even say the word. But it is such a journey that is filled with so many travelers. And I regret that there's not time to name each and every single person. Please look at the boards that we created out in the hallways that recognize the project professionals, the real estate professionals, the financing professionals, all who make this possible. I do want to name a couple of groups, though, that in particular. So I like to say that somebody, Brian, you said these all take so long, and I regret that that's true, but they also usually have 5 miracles attached to them, I have learned. And I think miracle 1 might have been when Ralph called Maureen, and I won't go down every one of them, but I do want to name a moment that was especially important, and Mayor, your cabinet rallied, and our project team rallied. You have to get a building permit to close your financing. And when your financing involves HUD, you have to do it like 8 years before the closing. Because it has to be reviewed by 9,000 people, one day at a time. That's marginally exaggerated. So we were at a point in which to keep Chris's board meeting on schedule and to enable Drew to deliver the trust funds and a few other things that had to happen, we needed a building permit faster than we were really ready for. And the pandemic had sort of created this start and go kind of quality to the project, and we were catching up, and we needed everybody who has ever done anything on a permit to get it to happen. Deputy Mayor, I know you got tired of my text. I appreciate your patience. But in particular, Director Chopra, who I don't know if he was able to stay, he's been here. Greta Rivera, who heads the acceleration program, our Department of Buildings, our project team, so Bonster Hairsign is here, I think Wiles Minch is here, AMT, OCI, you have been here. That was the group of people that had to go beyond and above and beyond over and over again to hit that particular deadline. We wouldn't be standing here without that huge effort, so thank you so much. Could you clap for them, please? And the financing is hard, and it gets harder each time. And so to Chris Donald, who directs HFA, to Drew Hubbard, who directs DHCD, it's fitting that you are sitting together because you are working so closely together in all of these affordable housing projects, making sure that they come true. On the private side, we thank our friends at Equity Plus, at Gershman Investment, R4 Capital, Enterprise Community Loan Fund. Are you here? Chase, I saw Caitlin earlier, and United Bank. You notice that's like 9 names, and that's what it takes to do affordable housing in a high-cost city like ours. That list would go on and on. I'm not going to do that. I do want to take a second to acknowledge the Jubilee Housing Board. Could you raise your hands, please, for us? Particularly special for us that we will celebrate over and over and over again is 2 of our co-founders are in the room. Barbara and Terry, could you wave? We're almost to the dirt. When you're about to turn 50 and your co-founders still serve on your board and still lead with heart and soul, you have a special thing. So I'm grateful for that. All right. We'll go back to the beginning story. Ralph knew something those many days ago in 2018. This is no ordinary real estate. This property was waiting to be born again. It was waiting to be loved and invested in and brought back to market with a bold and noble purpose: to serve D.C. residents who have been cut off from D.C.'s rising prosperity, to offer high quality, the highest quality arts. I keep telling Maureen over and over again, folks are going to go through that program next door, and they're going to go right into the workforce with living wage arts-based jobs. Does it get any better than that? And to foster inclusion and equity for our neighborhood and our city more broadly. Friends, it is on the way. We look forward to welcoming you back about this time a year from now. Thank you, each one, for giving of your time to be with us to celebrate this special moment. Thank you for all the roles you played in getting us here. I have some instructions to give you, but they weren't given to me. So I'm going to make it up a little bit. Some of us are leaving first. Is that, Rebecca, I can't find you. Speakers are going to leave first. We'll ask your patience. We're going to reconvene. You go out the front door and turn left, and there's a lovely box of dirt waiting for us. And folks on the front row, we need you to get up there with a shovel in your hand. So let's let speakers in the front row go first, and then file out as orderly as you can. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.